Hollywood actors becoming Broadway actors is sort of a normal thing these days. You know, it's how a lot of shows get financed. Whereas back in, say, someone like Chita Rivera, when she was getting started, it was you started on Broadway and ended up with a Hollywood career. Now, a lot of shows don't get green-lit unless it's somebody who's on TV on it.
How does that make you guys feel?
Like we want a TV show.
It sort of makes you feel like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna need to get a TV show so I can keep working on Broadway.
Pretty much.
The Bronx Tale is all theater people.
That's right. The most recognizable names to most people will be on the creative team.
Yeah.
The brand of the movie is, you know, it's so genre bending. It has, you know, fans all over the world.
The one-man show was such a huge success. The film was such a huge success. And it's only logical that you translate it to another, you know, medium, and hopefully we don't mess it up. If we do, it's his fault.
We've been walking that fine line between honoring the authenticity of the movie, getting as many people under the tent, people who haven't seen the film, who aren't necessarily married to the grittiness of the film, you know. A lot of people whose favorite movie it is say, please don't mess up my favorite movie, but a lot of people are coming in off the street not knowing anything about the story, so it's really been a process of making it as palatable as possible to as many people as possible while still having it be authentic and true to, you know, what the movie is.
Well, the restaurant business is sort of the same. I mean, Jack, you had this idea when you started your first restaurant, and now you have 4. So how do you keep that authentic feel and thought of that first restaurant?
It's the 3 things you have to do in this business. Quality of the food, knowing how to run it, and hospitality. It has to be every day better and better.
You came to this country at 19 from Albania, correct?
Albania from Montenegro.
What advice do you have for people who want to start their own restaurant, who want to start their own business?
To believe it and yourself that you can do it. That's how we believe, because we used to work in Peter Luger's, and then we was like, if they can do it, why we cannot do it? A lot of commitment. It's a different life. You commit the whole your life to restaurants, the customers, and no way you're not going to succeed if you do those things.
What made you choose the restaurant business when you came here at 19 years old?
I didn't have any choice, so it was only job.
Oh, you didn't have it?
It was only job. You know, I need a job.
I know that feeling.
So you started out working in a restaurant.
I started working as a busboy. After that, I became a bartender and waiter, and after 15.5 years, I had my own business.
Good for you.
What kind of odd jobs did you guys work when you were starting up in the business?
I started out in the kitchen, actually. Well, dishwasher, then I was a line cook, then I, you know, lied on my resume to get on the floor finally because I wanted to talk to people and socialize. I'm a very social person. But it's great. I learned so many things in that job that I use every day to this day. Multitasking, you know, a way of communicating with people, finding out things about people in a very short amount of time, how to read what people want before they know they want it, like things like that. There are skills in the food service industry that are very applicable to everyday life and performing, certainly.
Well, there have been pictures of you at Chaz's house having a meal. What is that like?
It was amazing, just, you know, authentic, homemade Italian food. And, you know, we got a private concert from Alan Menken, who wrote the music to our show and was there as a guest as well. And
his mother-in-law actually made some stuffed peppers the other night, and he knows, I had mentioned at one point that my mother-in-law, before she passed away, made my favorite stuffed peppers in the world, and I love stuffed peppers. And so I guess they had Sunday dinner at Chaz's house, and they had stuffed peppers. And on Monday, he showed up with a Tupperware of stuffed peppers for me, and they were delicious.
the food and the whole day was honestly a reflection of who they are as people. They're just very kind, generous people.
Jack, aside from the food, you have an incredible wine menu. How many different kinds do you have?
We have over 500 different wines, and every restaurant has like over 15,000 bottles.
Who chooses the wine?
I choose the wine myself and my brother too.
And what's it like working with family?
It works out because we're very close as a brothers, and we never say to each other no. If he has a different ideas, we say go ahead, you know. If it doesn't work, okay, next, another idea or something like that.
If Lorenzo and Sonny ever sat down like this for a meal, there wouldn't be any problems.
Probably not.
Talking about the play, what line resonates the most with you guys?
It's the saddest thing in life is wasted talent. And it's very, 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 very true. But actually a line that Calogero says, and it is in a song, the choices you make will shape your life forever. We all have choices to make in our life, and each one will lead you down a different path.
If I had to choose one of my lines, it's a line that I deliver that actually relates more to a message that Lorenzo gives his young son at the beginning of the show in a beautiful song called Look to Your Heart that I echo later on in the show, saying, you gotta do what your heart tells you to do, because if you go against your heart, you're automatically wrong. When Calogero comes to me advice about a difficult decision. And that's a pretty universal theme, I think, and it's one that courses through the show pretty predominantly.
I get that. I get how protective this man is of his family and of his child, how much he wants a better life for him. I'm usually the bad guy, you know what I mean? That's my whole career has been a career filled with, you know, kind of being the antagonist. So it's kind of nice to be the good guy for once.
There's a new bad guy in town.
There's a new bad guy in town. That's right. The younger me. Cheers.
Jack, thank you for bringing us all together.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
Good
We'll
time.
see you soon anyway. Thank you so much.
Salute. We don't have to stop eating now, do we?